Joining us now to break down the progress of those negotiations, as well as other developments on Capitol Hill, is Representative Ted Yoho, the congressman proudly serving the 3rd District of Florida. So, Congressman, right now we're seeing this coronavirus legislation stalled mostly in the lower chamber. Republicans have their proposal. The White House has their proposal. But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that she is not even open to necessarily consolidating with those proposals just yet. Where do you stand on this legislation? Are you hopeful?
Yeah, I am hopeful. The American people are counting on it, Alex. And again, we've been through this so many times with Miss Pelosi playing politics over the health of the American people. They did it with Zika, they did it with Ebola, and they're doing it again. It's unconscionable. Every time a fight comes up or an argument that comes up, politics gets played instead of leaders in Washington focusing on what's best for the American people. We're tired of that. I'm a member of Congress. I came from the silent majority, and I'm hearing from people all over the nation. We are tired of the politics up there. And until Miss Pelosi gets over her high horse, her policies are the ones that are putting the strain on the American people. And they're willing to negotiate in the House and the Senate. But Miss Pelosi is being controlled by that radical left group of hers that wants free everything, free healthcare, free this, free rent, and all that. And they're doing this all for politics for November in the hopes of gaining the Senate and more in the House. And it would be a danger to this country if they did that.
And Congressman, we actually talked to you a couple months ago when the first coronavirus relief package was being negotiated, and it was the same type of thing. Democrats wanted to put in outside funding for the Lincoln Center, things of that nature, and it ended up delaying that bill by at least a couple days, if not more than a week. So here we are almost revisiting the same type of topic once again. Do you think that this just comes down to the idea, the same way with police reform, that Democrats do not want to give Republicans or the president any victories going into an election year?
I think that's exactly what it comes down to. If you're going to put policies first for America, you push all that stuff to the side because that really doesn't matter. If we're working on the same team, we should all work to get these things done so that our police force are taken care of. Make the reforms that make sense in the police force. Make sure that there's feeding or social programs out there to take care of people. But to sit there and blame one side as holding this up, and that's why people are dying, that's political BS is what that is. And again, they do that to show that, oh, we really care about people. If you care about people, get off your high horse and get these bills passed.
No, and
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the American people agree with you. I mean, when it comes to this type of relief, we see a lot of people kind of putting aside partisan lines and saying that they understand that people right now are going without work. People right now are not getting paychecks. People may be getting evicted from their homes in the near future because of the decisions of local governments to shut down the economies. So I think a lot of people understand the threat that's at play right now, and they're kind of putting aside all this partisan bickering and instead want action to be done. Is that what you're seeing in your home state of Florida?
That's what I'm saying, and I hear from around the country, Alex. I have business owners saying that they're ready to go back to work, but their employees aren't willing to come back because they're making more staying home. And Nancy Pelosi wants to keep these people staying home and out of work, which is going to hurt our economy more. And when these businesses go out of business, there's no jobs to come back to. She's playing with a very dangerous thing that's going to destroy the economic engine of this of our country. And it's interesting when I talk to people from Argentina or Brazil, they said, what is wrong with the people in your country? You guys have it so well, but your people don't understand that, and your political leaders are dividing your country.
And I think it comes back to the idea, too, that the Democratic Party right now is not the same Democratic Party that we were talking about maybe 10 years ago. It's facing an interior conflict by a lot of those progressive lawmakers. In fact, you had a confrontation with one of those lawmakers who then kind of capitalized on this moment to try to kind of make her points known. I mean, they make this say about Joe Biden, that he's being driven by the progressive left. They say the same thing about House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's being driven by the progressive left. And now we see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who, of course, you had that exchange with, who is essentially one of the drivers behind all these decisions because of the fact that the Democratic Party is moving so far to the left. So I want to let you expand on what happened exactly and what this says more broadly about the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. It's a short conversation. We crossed at the mid-level of the Capitol. I was going down from voting. She was coming up. And I've been meaning to talk to her because I've heard so many ideas that just, to me, they're un-American and they're just crazy, wild ideas. And I asked her if she had a minute. She said yes. we started talking, and my first question was, I had just been sent a video of her advocating at a teletown hall meeting for if a person is hungry and they can't pay their rent and their children are hungry, that it's okay to steal shoplift a loaf of bread.
Hmm.
And I said, seriously? And she goes, yeah, I did say that. And I said, seriously, with all the social programs, our faith-based groups, our food pantries, the best you, a U.S. congressman, can come up with is telling people to shoplift. And she says, you're just being so rude. And I said, rude? I says, your ideas are freaking crazy, and they're disgusting ideas. And I turned around and walked away. And there's articles out there where she says, I didn't hear him say what they said he said. Um, and so she's created this false narrative that I called her because she was a woman and a woman of color, this terrible name, which she has admitted in the press I never called her. The interesting thing, Alex, is she has corralled 17 people in the House to get behind this lie, and it's political sophistry at its best, to make this narrative that the patriarchy, old white guys, are in control and they talk down to women and especially women of color. And so I want to know how she's going to explain this lie, knowing that I didn't say that to her colleagues that have gone out on a limb. And there was so much pressure put on Steny Hoyer when I did my talk on the House floor, where I apologized for bringing a little bit more angst into the House. And he accepted that apology, but he got so much pressure from her that she demanded an hour of a privileged motion. And it was all to foment a lie and to spread that the left media ran with that. This is a danger to our nation. And this really is the danger to Congress, because I've got a 33-year-old person that has come into Congress, no outside business experience. She's got work experience, but no outside business experience. Having Steny Hoyer and Nancy Pelosi bow down to that demand. Her ideals are damaging to this country. When you tell somebody it's okay to shoplift, is that okay for the store owner? Is that okay for the policeman that has to come and defend that store owner, especially when her policies are calling for 100% defunding of the police department?
Right.
I don't think so, and I will call people out on that.
No, and I think it's worth noting, too, that after you did apologize on the House floor, she took to the House floor to essentially reject your apology and instead make this broader statement. And then even after that, not only her, but some of her colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle used that opportunity to fundraise or get their message out as well. So I think that there was a little bit of a subliminal type of messaging in there, or an ulterior motive, if you will. But I think this broadly speaks to exactly what you're talking about, is that the Democratic leadership knows the direction of the Democratic Party and knows that it is behind people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Senator Bernie Sanders, things of that nature, and it goes all the way up to the presidential ticket with Joe Biden. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, and it really highlights the divide in this country and what people are fighting for coming this November 3rd.
It really does. And if you look at the disingenuousness of her, her up there with her teary eye and thanking everybody for this false narrative, that same day she's out in the steps of the Capitol in the parking lot. She's got a COVID mask on, dancing to that song, and I'm not going to repeat it, but it's called Boss with a B, ITCH. She's out there laughing and dancing and all this, and as you said, she's fundraising. So how hurt was she if I did say that, which I didn't, for her to go out there and use that word and make money off of it, laughing? This is what's wrong with American politics. People like that shouldn't be in office.
No, there's something to be said, I guess, about being able to capitalize on a tragedy in some degree, and that seems to be.
I pity the people in her district that is their representative, and I don't think she speaks for the majority of the Americans, the silent majority that said this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to get a better idea of exactly what her constituents think this upcoming election cycle, but I think you're right to say that if you look across the country, it doesn't necessarily reflect what those people are thinking in those more battleground states, which will be vital come November. But Representative Teo, go ahead.
I wish I could tell you how many Democrats came up to me and thanked me and said, thank you for doing that.
That shows the divide, though.
I'm not.
You're right. That shows the divide between the moderate part of the party and the progressive wing of the party. But Representative, I appreciate you coming on tonight and breaking down this issue and what's going on with the coronavirus relief package as well. Thank you.
You have a great day. Thank you.